Madame Fatima Zahra is talking. In the center of the city of Laghouat, and exactly in Abdul Hamid ibn Badi's neighborhood, the Mujahid Museum is located. It was established by order of the Ministry of Mujahideen on October 22, 2002. It is known that Laghouat was one of the last provinces that were colonized because of its resistance and strong walls. But after being discovered, a lot of people were killed by poison gas. Before becoming a museum, it was a jail used by the French authorities during the colonial period, where our ancestors were killed and tortured for many years. This museum is a window through which we can see Algeria's past. It is dedicated to preserving and sharing this rich history to the visitors of all ages and from all over the country, in order to make them educated on the history of their homeland. Our museum is divided into two blocks. The first one, which is the old, that was a jail made up from 9 dungeons. The second one, which was built recently, is a 2 floors block that contains the administration, library, and the big halls, which includes the different information about all what is related to the revolution. And this information are pictures of the Mujahideen and martyrs, the clothes that were worn by them, documents that prove the credibility of the revolution, historical references, books, magazines, and maps, in addition to the weapons that were used by the Mujahideen in Laghouat's region.
السلام عليكم. معليش تعرفنا بالمكان؟
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. رانا هنا في متحف المجاهد تاع ولاية الأغواط. هذا المتحف تم بناؤه بمرسوم رئاسي سنة 2082 وتم بناؤه داخل ساحة السجن القديم اللي برا هذيك ساحة السجن القديم. تم بناء مشروع السجن بعد مقاومة الأغواط بعد احتلال مدينة الأغواط ب10 سنوات. كما هو معلوم تم احتلال مدينة الأغواط يوم 4 ديسمبر من سنة 1852 يقولوا له عام الخلية ولا عام الشكاير.
لماذا سمي بعام الخلية؟
عام الخلية خاطش خلات مدينة الأغواط ولقوا العدو الفرنسي مقاومة كبيرة من سكان مدينة الأغواط بزعامة بالناصر بن شهرة، المقاوم العربي بالناصر بن شهرة. المقاوم العربي بالناصر بن شهرة. هذه الصورة ليست الصورة تاعو الحقيقية، هذه تمثيلية فقط وهو القبر تاعو ميت. القبر تاعو في بالناصر في سوريا. تم إنشاء المتحف بقرار وزاري سنة 2002 وسنة 2002 هذا البني تبنى في 2002. هذا بني جديد درناه حنا مقابل السجن القديم للمعلم التاريخي. هذاك السجن القديم راه تبنى سنة 1962 بعد 10 سنوات من احتلال مدينة الأغواط. 1962 تم بناء السجن القديم وهذه كانت ساحة السجن ما كانش مبنية. المتحف هذا المتحف الجديد هذا رانا فيه فركا ما كانش مبنية. جاء قرار وزاري من وزارة المجاهدين بإنشاء المتاحف وتبنى سنة 2002. هذا المتحف راه بني جديد.
وش هي النشاطات اللي يقوم بها المتحف؟
كما هو معروف المتحف المجاهد يقوم بعدة نشاطات يواكب الأحداث التاريخية من المقاومات الشعبية إلى غاية الاستقلال من 1830 إلى غاية الاستقلال 5 جويلية 1962. كل المحطات التاريخية من المقاومة الشعبية من الثورة التحريرية الحركات الإصلاحية إلى غاية الاستقلال. ويشارك في النشاطات المتحف كذلك في إحياء النشاطات كما قلنا الأيام الوطنية. كما عنده مساهمات يقوم بها في مثلا يشارك في مساعدة الطلبة في التخرج على شهادة ليسونس ولا حتى رسائل الدكتوراه والماجستير. حتى رسائل الدكتوراه والماجستير نجي للمتحف يقدم لهم الوثائق التاريخية المعلومات التاريخية. فهمتوا؟ حتى الزوار عندنا من أطياف المجتمع من صغار في السن من الطلبة تاع الابتدائي تاع الثانوي المتوسط حتى الجامعة كاع كل أطياف المجتمع نجيو هنا نساعدوهم. ودرنا احنا اتفاقيه مع مديريه التربيه بيجوا الزوار هنايا. الاتفاقيه بين المتحف المجاهد ومديريه المتحف المجاهد ووزاره مديريه التربيه تاع الاغواط. ودرنا ثاني اتفاقيه مع الكشافه الاسلاميه. هذه الاتفاقيه تساعد في اثراء المتحف والنشاطات تاعو.
يحوي آية الرحمن stalking. This yard includes 5 individual cells which are narrow and small in size. However, a large number of Mujahideen, about 12, were locked together in one cell from the Mujahideen of Laghouat. The colonialists used to lock the Mujahideen because of carrying out armed operations. Then, they were taken to the torture halls, one by one. After torture and interrogation, everyone involved in the Liberation Revolution is taken to a harsher jail. In this hall, the torture hall, there is a representative figures explaining what the Mujahideen of Laghouat suffered. They were subjected to the most brutal torture. Here, they were tortured by various means and tools, with cold water in the winter and hot in the summer, electricity, toxic substances, and the fire. French colonial soldiers used pliers to remove nails and hair, and sharp machines to cut off the limbs of the body. About the one standing with hands tied, they were subjecting him to psychological and moral torture to make him confess secret information. This room contains models of Mujahideen crossing the Shaolin-Maurice lines, which were 700 kilometers along the eastern side and 700 kilometers along the western side. Despite the danger of electrified barbed wire, the Mujahideen crossed it for freedom and independence. On the ground floor of the museum, there is a special wing with photographs of the martyrs of Laghouat and a list of their names, arranged according to the states. In addition, there is a wing dedicated to the popular resistance in Laghouat in 1852. As for the upper floor, there is a hall for displaying some museum symbols, pictures of martyrs and fighters of Laghouat, correspondence from the Laghouat district during the revolution, and historical references.
Here is Maryam talking. Mujahid Museum of Laghouat was not just a treasure to visit, but more. It was like a time portal that took us to the past of our country, especially the history of revolution, to remember all the difficulties were experienced by Mujahideen and Shuhada and their sacrifices for the freedom of our country. It was such a reminder that the peace we are living in now were paid for it, a lot of souls and blood, so we have to work to preserve it. While wandering between the cells of the museum, you can imagine the amount of pain and suffering experienced by our Algerian ancestors at this period, and this is enough to ignite the flame of patriotism within you. Being in the museum, surrounded by martyrs' pictures, makes you unconsciously proud and deeply appreciative of them. This is the least that we can do for them, remembering them and working to preserve what they sacrificed their lives for, the freedom of our country. Our presence in Mujahid Museum gave us an opportunity to meet such a great people, patriotics to the core. Some of them fought bravely for their country, and some of them were witnesses to this, so they really value its freedom. And some of them are seeking to revive history. People who gathered at the love of the country. They narrate the historical Algerian events proudly and sing national songs with love and passion. You can see their pride in their history and their Algerian nationality. That time in the museum made me realize that having a history to cherish is the best that can be had. And here is the Mujahid Museum in Laghouat working to preserve our history, to make us remember our glory and to seek to protect our country. Long live Algeria!
موطني الجلال والجمال والسناء والبهاء في رباط الحياة والنجاة والهناء والرجاء في هواء هل أراك سالما منعما وغانما مكرما سالما منعما وغانما مكرما هل أراك في علاك تبلغ السماء
مجدنا وعهدنا واجب من الوفاء يهزنا عزنا غاية تشرف وراية ترفرف غاية تشرف.
تحيا الجزائر، المجد والخلود لشهدائنا الأبرار.